Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. Good to have you with us. Hopefully you had a good spring break. We're back. It's a Monday morning. Terrible day outside. They say the weather's going to get a lot worse, but we're running remotely today here at HCC, and we're glad to be back on the air. Good to be back from spring break. We got some special guests on the show. Before we get to them, I want to introduce a very special guest. She's, in fact, one of our new co-hosts for the show, Alberta Zemira, an HCC student. You may have seen her on the show before. Alberta, good to see you back, and welcome to Up to the Minute.
Thank you for having me.
So let me ask you this. Did you have a good spring break?
I did, actually. I went camping.
Awesome. Oh, there you go. Yeah, good to get out of town. So you're ready to get back into swing this semester. And tell folks a little bit about, I know you've been a guest on the show before, but you're currently one of our students. Tell us a bit about you and what you're studying.
I am studying media and communication with hopes to aspire in music journalism by the time I'm out.
Yeah, well, you're going to be interviewing our Music Monday guest this morning. So welcome to the show once again. Thanks to all of you who are watching us on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, on Facebook, every weekday morning when HCC is in session. We're live at 10 a.m. If you don't catch us live on Facebook or YouTube, you can watch the rebroadcast at noon, 5 or 10 p.m. on HCCTV. In Alberta, they can also find us in social media too.
You can find us on social media, Facebook.
Right. We're under as Houston Community College District. There's a lot of HCCs out there, so you want to follow Houston Community College District. All right, Alberta, you're going to be interviewing this next guest. As a matter of fact, it's Music Monday, and we want to introduce Jazzmin Readeaux. And Jazzmin, good to see you on the show. Thanks for being here this Monday morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to hear more about you, your band, and you're going to talk a little bit about the punk rock scene in Houston?
Yes.
All right, good deal. All right, Alberta's going to be with you in a few moments, so stick around. Our first guest, though, this morning is here for Music Monday. Linda Rhodes, Mental Health Monday. We got a lot going on this morning. Linda Rhodes is the executive director of the Women's Fund for Health and Education and Resiliency. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Todd. Glad to be here.
So let's talk first off about this fund, and maybe you can explain what it is. And I understand it's been around for decades.
That's right. We're celebrating our 43rd anniversary. The Women's Fund is a not-for-profit dedicated to providing women and girls the tools they need to be advocates for their health. And we do this by providing women and girls classes who have limited access to health information and struggle to maintain their health by providing curriculum-based classes, focused seminars, and workshops, to maintain their basic health needs. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let me ask you this. I imagine you guys do a lot of outreach. Do you perform the outreach in high schools, in the school system? How exactly do you let people know about the Women's Fund and recruit those for your classes?
Well, what we do is we do a lot of outreach. We work in a lot of the school districts. We work with wraparound specialists. We have a lot of word of mouth that goes around. Yeah. We do programs with other not-for-profits. Most of our women's classes are with groups like Dress for Success, the Women's Home, right. Angela House. We do a lot of work with Santa Maria Hostel, but we work with Spring Branch ISD, a lot of schools there. We have about 125 partners that we work with on an annual basis.
And how many people do you serve all this? Because I know the numbers are pretty staggering. They're in the thousands, right?
They are. Now, pre-pandemic, on an average, we would reach anywhere from 11 to 12,000 women and girls. And through the pandemic, we were averaging about 45 to 5,500. And that was all virtually. Now we're back in person again, but we still have continued on in a hybrid fashion. Yeah. We do some classes in person, particularly those in the schools. We are What About Me classes, which are a 10-week curriculum. We do those in schools. And those are particularly very, very important to the girls because you can imagine being isolated the last 2 years from their friends and family and all that. There's been a lot of struggles recently for girls.
And let's talk about some of those struggles that people may not know. What are some of the things that may surprise one if you hear about struggles that are unique now since the pandemic?
Well, I think we all, I think kids in particular, we think that they're automatically stress-free and they don't worry about things, but there's a lot of pressure on them. There was pressure on them before the pandemic to perform academically, athletically, all these different things. But during the pandemic, when they went into this mode of just being virtual, they had the loss of learning. They were socially isolated from their friends, they were in families, and who knows what they were living in. Since we've been back in schools, we've had some alarming things. We've had girls admit that they were raped. And these were in elementary schools. It's alarming. We've had girls who come forward to say that they thought about killing themselves. Yeah. And, you think about this, and we're a third party provider, and for them to feel comfortable telling someone that, it's just amazing that they do. Right. So what our classes do is, the first part is we teach resiliency skills. And resiliency is an important part of, of being able to cope with long-term health issues. And health, we look at health as the 7 dimensions of health. The physical, it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's intellectual, it's mental, it's financial, social, environmental, and occupational. You have to have all of that to have long-term good health and positive health outcomes. So
you also, the Women's Fund also hosts a number of, as you mentioned, a number of things online, and you've got some upcoming ones that are available to watch through Zoom. Maybe you can tell us about a couple of those.
Okay. This week on Wednesday, I believe it is, noon to 1, we have a hybrid one class. It's on nutrition, and it will be at Kelsey Siebel on the Holcomb site, their main campus. We will have a special guest come in and talk about nutrition. This is Nutrition Awareness Month, and we will also have it on Zoom and then on our YouTube channel. And then April 7th, we have a dog talk coming up with the Wisdom Study, and that's a new approach to breast cancer research. And that will be at Alliant Group. We'll be doing that virtually also. It's a hybrid model, in person and virtually. In fact, some of our guests will be virtual. Guest speakers will be virtual.
If someone is interested in these classes that you're offering, but also in getting involved with this, maybe getting some support for their children, how would they get in touch with you? Would the best way to go through your website? Do they go through their school counselor? What would be the best way to do that?
Okay, so the best way to get involved or to find out what we're doing is if you go to our website, which is www.thewomensfund.org. You can look on, we have a calendar that's free events, and that's all the virtual classes we have. Now, I'll be honest, the virtual classes we have online, presentations are geared towards adults. Right. Our school programs or our programs for adolescent girls are usually set up through their schools or through other organizations. And those are generally arranged through, it could be the counselor, it could be the life skills or a wraparound specialist. So you can inquire there. You could also check us out on Facebook. We do post presentations there, but we have a place where you can, if you want to volunteer with us, you can go in and get involved. You can send an inquiry through WOMFund at the Women's Fund and ask us questions. If you want to find out about getting classes hosted at your school, connect us with your counselor. Send us an email at healtheducator@thewomensfund.org or at WOMFund@thewomensfund.org, and we'd be happy to follow up with that.
Well, we're going to put some in. We're going to put some links in our social media post after the show. So if people have questions, they can get a hold of you. Linda Rhodes is the executive director of the Women's Fund. We appreciate you taking the time and joining us on this Mental Health Monday.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. All right, I'm going to turn things over to our new co-host, Alberta, and you've got a special guest. You guys know each other, Alberta? Y'all, you're familiar with
We've met.
with Jazzmin?
Yeah. Yes, we've met.
All right, I'm going to turn things over. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. So moving on to Jazzmin Readeaux, the vocalist of Lagrimas, Houston's punk rock band. Thank you for joining us, Jazzmin. We're really happy to have you here. Hello.
Looks like we may have, there she is. Looks like we're having some streaming issues with Jazzmin. Jazzmin, can you hear us? I think we've got, well, there we are. Can you hear us, Jazzmin? Let's see if we've got streaming. It's a Monday. It's the way things work. It's a Monday. We just returned from spring break, folks. We're having some streaming issues, but we'll see if we can get Jazzmin there. Can you see us and hear us, Jazzmin?
I hear something.
Okay, we'll try it one more time. Jazzmin, are you there?
I can't see but hear you.
It looks like we've got some issues with Jazzmin's stream right now. Okay, let's see if we can get the interview going. I don't know if we might have some streaming issues, Jazzmin. Let's see, there we are. Let's try it now.
Can you hear us? Okay.
And it looks like we've got a few more streaming issues with Jazzmin. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to carry on with the interview, but we appreciate if we can get her moved. Let's see. We'll try it one more time. Jazzmin, can you hear us?
I can hear y'all.
Okay, let's try it now.
We can hear you now. Okay.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Perfect. So yeah, thank you for joining us today, Jazzmin. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Your face is frozen, but I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, before we get started, why don't we just have you tell us about the members, the ones that are not here with us today, and their roles in the band.
Great, awesome. So it's me and Jazzmin, and there's Laramie Joseph. She's the bassist. Readeaux Joseph, she's the drummer, and Edgar Hernandez, and he's the guitarist.
Okay, great. So how long have y'all been a band? Like, how did Lagrimas get started?
We started in, I think, 2019, so it's going on 3 years, I think.
3 years?
Yeah, it's been like 2.5. It's because we started like a few months before quarantine, so that delayed us a lot.
Okay. And what would you say your most influences are musically? And what sets you apart from like those bands and other hardcore acts?
So I know that Rye and Laramie didn't necessarily listen to like hardcore or punk at all. Yeah, Laramie listens to like a lot of Midwest emo and like pop punk, and Rye just listens to like a lot of, I guess, like hyper pop and like hip hop. Yeah, and
that's a new one for me.
Yeah. So I guess like when it comes to the weird time signatures and more mathy stuff in the instruments, it definitely comes from them.
Okay. So what were things like for you all, like when you got it started? Like you just said that you have all these different influences, and you forgot to mention yours and Edgar. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, you're fine. I was just gonna say that Edgar listens to like a lot more like traditional punk, like punk and crust and grind and stuff like that. I know as for me, I feel like a lot of the influences that I get are from like emo violence bands like Orchid and stuff like that, and more sassy bands like the Blood Brothers and things like that.
I see. Cool. Okay. So like what would set y'all apart in your opinion from like those bands like Blood Brothers and even the pop punk bands? Obviously they're not hardcore acts, but how do you feel like the engagement wise, how does that set you apart?
I feel like we have a lot of misfits, who like our stuff. So a big thing that we've seen is a lot of Black women and like Black femmes really enjoy our music. And I feel like it's a space, speaking from like a Black femme's perspective, that hasn't really been that welcoming, you know, to people like us. That's a thing. I also feel like it really helps a lot of queer folks come out, you know, and just be themselves.
More comfortable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I've seen y'all play like multiple times, and I always feel like I mean, to be honest, like maybe this is my time to shine. Like people like us, this is our chance to like throw down for you guys and the rest of us that are involved in that sense. So really appreciate y'all for that. Seriously. So as, you know, a band heavily involved with the LGBTQIA community, do you feel like animosity from your peers at all?
Sometimes I feel like a lot of us get misgendered a lot, which I understand why people would misgender me because I'm very like feminine, I guess. But it really annoys me when people will like misgender like Rye or Laramie, and like we'll tell them like, hey, you know, she's a girl, and then they purposely do it, you know? That's definitely a thing we have to deal with.
So
sometimes.
Mostly like just really rude like, you know, interactions with that.
Yeah.
So I really feel like, you know, since that is the case, you guys are just changing that stigma by playing what you play and presenting yourselves as who you are. So you're going to get rid of that slowly but surely. So can you tell us about like some of your singles? I know that you have Anxiety Attack and The Drunk Punk Invasion, Farce of July. So how can everybody find those online?
We don't want anyone to find them.
You don't want anyone to find them?
Okay.
Oops, sorry, I should have mentioned that.
So I mean, for now, because we have a band camp and it's Lagrimas HTX, it's Lagrimas Houston, but it was recorded on an iPhone like maybe a year and a half ago, so it's not the best, you know what I mean?
Okay. So you feel like it's more of like a demo rather than a demo? Okay.
Yeah, it's very like dirty, and which I love that, but
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say like maybe that's what we want the most, you know? It brings us back to like old demos from like Circle Jerks and things like that. Like you want the rawness of what you're all about, you know?
Yeah, but I guess the thing that we don't really, it's because a lot of the songs, like as we kept playing them, they've polished themselves over time. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So we're planning on recording probably like this weekend soon, very soon. We're planning on recording, and then we'll release it on Spotify and everything. But for right now,
so just be patient, everybody. They're going to be releasing some cleaner music for you all.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, people could just look up Lagrimas Houston and YouTube.
Okay, so can I ask really quick, what did Lagrimas come from? Like, where did the name come from? Uh-oh, I think we got a frozen thing here again.
Looks like we got the video stream frozen again. Oh no. Okay. Jazzmin, are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm there now.
Okay, all right.
It's raining real bad over here.
Okay, so yes, the origin of Lagrimas. How did that name come about?
So we were listening to Los Crudos, and in one of the songs they're talking in Spanish, and he says something about like Lagrimas de mi gente or something, and I was like, hey, yo, that would be a really cool name.
That is, it's really catchy. Lagrimas, you don't, hear that kind of name anymore. So you said that you all pretty much formed during the quarantine, correct? Around that time. Mm-hmm. So how did COVID hinder your band?
We couldn't play for about a year.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a thing.
Were y'all at least practicing and at least, getting your songs put together?
Yeah, so we were practicing. We couldn't practice for a couple months just because, I mean, it had just happened and we didn't know how contagious it was. And,
Yeah.
But after probably about like 5-6 months, we started practicing, and we used to practice pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm. And then once things started dwindling down, you were like ready to go. Okay. So where would you like to see the band by the end of the year? Like, I know you're playing live and you're touring, and you guys have been playing a lot of shows this year. I've been seeing flyer after flyer. and you're really busy. So where do you see Lagrimas by the end of the year?
Well, we've been asked to play a lot of like on the West Coast. And we actually played with this band Nice from LA, and the singer Mimi, she's super sweet. She really liked us, and she said that at any time if we want to perform in California, she has 3 cities up the state to book us. And I have friends like in Washington, in Oregon, Arizona, so we're probably going to try to do a West Coast tour soon. And we're trying to apply to like Black and Brown Fest and stuff like that.
Yes.
Trying to get out there.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that because I am definitely going to be there this year, hopefully, to see you all there. So since the rest of your band can't be with us and you can't give us a live performance, but we have a video. What is it called? I think you provided us with a video, a link.
It looks like our stream is frozen again.
Oh, no.
Here we are.
Oh, no.
I was just standing still, I guess.
I think it was the one at Satellite Bar, I believe, a few months ago.
Was it the one that I sent in?
Yeah, I believe so.
That one is in San Antonio, the show we just played, and it's at this bike shop. It's the song we're performing is called is it Sid and Nancy?
Okay.
Yeah. So that song is a lot of the music that is written. I was in a really, really abusive marriage about like 2.5 years ago. And we have a couple of songs about that. So that song is about feeling like you're trapped and you can't escape no matter how much you try to leave. Like codependency, you know?
Yeah. The feel that I get from Lagrimas closing in here, like, once again, like appreciating the raw authenticity of hardcore punk. Like, I feel like it's slowly but surely coming back, and you're one of the bands that are doing that for us, especially in the Houston scene. So I just wanted to thank you again, Jazzmin, for having you all, and we'll be posting your info after the show for everyone to find.
And we're having streaming issues again. Like Jazzmin was saying, the rain is horrible around the city right now. So, Jazzmin, thanks for being here on Music Monday.
Thank you so much for having me. And sorry about the streaming again.
That's all right. We understand. Technical issues happen. Thank you, Jazzmin.
Thanks, Jazzmin. See you soon.
Bye.
All right. We've got some news and announcements on the show. Alberta, I know it was difficult with the streaming issues, but great job. And thanks for bringing Jazzmin on the show. And we learn more about that band. As we mentioned, we'll have some information in our social media post on them after the show. Okay, let's get into our news and announcements. Student Life, Alberta, is doing something called Wonder Woman Trivia. Tell us what that's all about.
Yes, so Wonder Woman Trivia from Student Life. So we're going to have a little fun during National Women's History Month. Student Life, they created a women's history discussion and a trivia game in which participants will have a chance to win e-gift cards. It'll be 6 p.m. on tomorrow. That's March 22nd, I believe. And it will be virtual. So we will post that information after the show as well.
All right. Well, I'm going to skip on down to the Adjunct Career Fair because this is an important thing. You want to save the date. A lot of people wonder, I'd like to be an adjunct at HCC. How do I do that? Well, we've got a career fair. Answer all those questions and let you know what's out there. You can join HCC looking to hire adjunct professors. And this special event is an opportunity to be interviewed on the spot. That's happening Saturday, March 26th, I believe this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we'll post some information after our show. Open for Business Entrepreneurial Initiatives. Tell us about that.
Here we have HCC's Office of Entrepreneurial Initiatives. That's launched some new programs for entrepreneurs and small businesses as well. So you got a couple of them. I know there's Business Financial Academy. Academy. And then we have Houston's Economy. That's an update and outlook for 2022. And then we also have the Texas Educational Foundation Scholarship. Super important stuff.
Right. And if you want to learn more about those, we'll put some information in our post, but there are certain times, dates you'll need to know, and we'll give you all that information. Dynamic demonstration, our student art winners, an exhibition of the winning art from the district-wide Fall 2021 Student Art Instagram show will be on view at the Central Gallery. They're showing it in person. You've seen it on Instagram. Now you get to see it in person. Multiple works in diverse mediums will be included, and that happens through April the 9th at the Fine Arts Gallery at HCC Central Campus. Have you been there to that gallery, Alberta?
I actually haven't. I used to go to the Spring Branch location, so that's the Fine Arts Gallery I'm used to, but I will check that out.
Yeah, check that out as well. Okay.
Registration is not required for that event. It is free. So just show up.
Yes, and we'll put some information in our social media posts. Summer registration, everyone needs to know about this because if you want to register for the summer, there are 3 dates that are very important, Alberta.
So the 3 dates that we have is April 11th. Everyone can check out the schedule. April 18th and April the 25th. So for the 18th, the priority registration is for vets in Eagle Promise program, but everyone else can register for the 25th. So just get ready.
Yeah, summer and fall registration coming up. It's hard to believe we're already talking about fall 2022 registration. It just seemed like we were in the fall, a couple of months ago. Now we got it upcoming. These days just keep breezing by. By the way, we still will have the 5 options. You can take your classes online anytime, online in a schedule. We have a hybrid version, in-person classes on campuses, and hybrid labs. Those are all available. But the main thing is to register early. All right, tomorrow on the show, it's Tasty Tuesday.
Tasty Tuesday. We will feature another local chef presented on Top Chef. So it's super cool. Her name is Dawn Burrell. She's a finalist from last season in Seattle. So she's an occasional judge on Top Chef Houston going on now, and she will be opening a new spot here.
That should be cool. So we'll learn about that tomorrow, and we'll also have a spotlighting an award-winning program from Coleman College of Health Sciences. All right, that wraps up today's show. Alberta, you're back later this week?
Yes, I am.
All right, you'll be back. Was it Thursdays?
Yes, Thursdays.
Yeah. So good to have you on the show once again. Thanks to all of you joining us this morning. You know, it's a Monday morning. We're back from a spring break, and it certainly feels like it. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. live with Up to the Minute.